So the Sabres lose their third straight game in overtime last night versus the Boston Bruins. And their record is now at 4-4-3, which doesn't sound too bad. They are at the 500 mark. However, that is good for seventh in the division, 14th in the conference. It's just, I can't say that they're playing bad hockey right now because I truly do believe that if this were last year's team or honestly teams from the last few years in some of these games, they are not fighting back and making it a game or at least getting a point, out of these overtime games. So I won't be too mad at that. However, first off, I do think that their overtime struggles need to be fixed. Three straight overtime games, you ideally win at least one of them. They do lose all three though. I don't like how they've been playing in overtime. But like I mentioned, I don't I'm confident that, they will eventually start to figure out how to win these games. But like I mentioned already, previous Sabres teams, I don't think are coming back and, making these tight games, getting a point out of them and forcing overtime. So I will not be too mad about that. Just heading into November to wrap up October, Alex Tuck is currently the team leader in points. He's a point per game, played 11 games, 11 points, obviously. Um, He's a +4. Dahlin is next up, but honestly, I don't like what I've seen out of Dahlin at all. Um, just watching him with the puck, I think he tries to do way too much where he's trying to make like the perfect play where he's trying to spring a guy on a breakaway or something. And I just don't think it's working out. I think he's turning the puck over way too much. I mean, last night, obviously, he kind of ruined overtime where he tried to take the puck into the zone by himself and, you know, obviously not trying to take the tumble the way he did, obviously, but it's just unfortunate. And then Tage Thompson tries to step up in the play and create a turnover right at the blue line when they had three guys going the other way. It's just a horrible scenario. And that's, multiple games in a row in overtime where it's just poor decision making. Whether you want to talk about the Toronto game too, where I believe it was Yuri Kulik completely forgets to cover his guy that was, kind of the third man in being John Tavares. And previously in that overtime, obviously. Owen Power receives a pass in the slot and just completely whiffs on it, turns the puck over to the other team in the corner, and then they go down and score. So just bad overtime performances. Um, Not going to be mad that they are getting points out of these games, though. 4-4-3 is certainly a lot better than 4-6-1 or even 4-7-0. But I know it looks bad that they're seventh in the Atlantic and 14th in the East. But obviously they've only played 11 games. It's a very early season, but they do need to start winning these games because boy is the Eastern Conference competitive this year, man. I mean, like I mentioned, they're a 500 team and they're third last in the conference. Like it's competitive. They've only played 11 games. The Islanders are sitting at last place with a 4-5-1 record. The Maple Leafs are second to last. It's just very competitive conference this year. The Bruins are up at 12th, Panthers are at 13th. The Rangers haven't even won a home game yet, and they're still sitting at 500, 11th in the conference. There's a lot of very very good teams. There's a lot of there's a big cluster kind of there in the middle of where teams are separated by like 1 or 2 points in the conference. Like the difference between sixth place in the conference and 15th is 2 points, which is one win. So it's going to be a very competitive conference. The Sabres division, the Atlantic is going to be super competitive. They need to start, if they want to somehow get into the playoffs this year, they need to start winning these close games. Um, I won't get mad, obviously, that they've kind of grabbed points here and there in these overtime games, but they need to learn how to finish a game. If they want to become kind of that playoff team. I haven't really been impressed with Tage Thompson's game either, if I'm being honest. I still think he's making a lot of poor decisions. He's a -5. Darlene's a -8. Zucker's a -8. Quinn's a -4. Power is just this is some of the worst hockey I've seen Owen Power play, which is saying something because I don't think he's really been too impressive. Um, in his first, I want to say 4 years in Buffalo, so he needs to get his game going because he looks slow. He's making poor decisions with the puck defensively. He's not doing enough. He's not even physical for a guy. I want to say he's 6'4", 6'5". He's barely even throwing the body around. We need to see more out of Power if this team wants to be good. Um, and I'm kind of getting impatient with him. I just feel like it's the same problems every year, and every year they say that he's playing a lot better, but then he just continues to have these same issues. Um, I like Connor Timmins' game, to be honest, a lot. I think he does a really good job blocking shots and being a solid, reliable defensive defenseman. I think that the Sabres have needed a guy like that, and I think he's done a really solid job. Um, yeah, I think Matthias Samuelson's probably been our best defenseman, if I'm being honest. In 9 games, he has 6 points, but it's not just that. Um, honestly, if you're looking at some of the advanced metrics, like he's um he's probably been the Sabres' best defenseman. I think that he's doing a really good job defensively. Um, offensively, actually, his advanced metrics aren't even that good. But I kind of disagree with that. Just watching him play, I just think he's been super reliable. Um, Sabres have kind of been able to put him out there in all situations except the power play. He's not a liability defensively. Obviously, he's a +4, +3. He's a +3 on the year, which is second best on the team behind Tuck, and then Benson and Zach Metza are both +3. Um, Also, Josh Doan might single-handedly carry this team to the playoffs. I mean, this guy is a freaking beast, man. This is a guy where I'm looking at the advanced metrics and they absolutely love him. He's leading the team in Corsi 4 percentage. He's leading the team in Fenwick 4 percentage. Um, Expected goals for percentage from guys that have played, pretty much every game. Him and Zach Benson are both, the top two guys. Zach Benson has a goals for percentage of 76.47, which is just unreal. And then Josh Stone is 66.67. And then expected goals for percentage. Josh Stone through 11 games is a 69.32, which is just amazing. Zach Benson is a 63. To put it into perspective, 50 is kind of like average. Anything above that is good. Josh Stone is a 69.32. Benson's at a 63.59, and then Jason Zucker's at a 58.88. There's just high danger chances for percentage. Josh Stone is the best of any guy that's played every game. He's at 66.67. Like he's just been, if you watch the game, he plays the game at such a high level. He plays with so much speed. He does a great job on the back check. I think he does an incredible job where when the other team is trying to break the puck out of the zone, they're trying to skate it out. He just does a great job at coming up behind them and pickpocketing them and going the other way. He creates so many chances. He's probably been the Sabres' best net front presence, him and Jason Zucker. Um, he's just so good at wreaking havoc in front of the net, creating screens, say what you want about his goals if there just happens in front of the net. I mean, the guy's getting to the net. He knows what it takes to score a goal in this league, and scoring in this league is not easy. But Josh Stone he's figuring it out. He has 8 points in 11 games. I would not be surprised if he got up to like the 60-point mark. Um, when I first made my reaction video about the trade, where obviously we sent Paterka over for Kesselring and Josh Stone, I was very negative just because I was super upset that we traded Paterka because I was super high on him. I watched Paterka develop in Rochester. I've watched him play with the Sabres. I think when he was on the team, he was obviously one of our best offensive players. So I saw Josh Stone's track record. He only had like 20 points last year in like 60 games. And then Kessering, obviously, still a young up and coming defenseman. His stats weren't anything impressive, but the more I watch this team, the more that I'm not mad about this trade. I don't know if we have Paterka in the lineup, I don't know how much really better our team would be, like how much better our record would be. I know people were kind of freaking out after our first few games where we just weren't really scoring, but luckily they finally broke out against the Red Wings and they've been able to score at a pretty good level ever since. So, um, obviously Josh Stone's been an incredible ad. Kessering has only played 2 games back, but he's looked pretty solid so far. He's just doing a good job being physical, just throwing his body around in the corner. He's trying. I haven't really seen him, rip off any crazy shots yet, but I'm sure we will see that very, very soon. Um, but yeah, just taking a look at the Sabres game last night versus Boston. I mean, it's just such an like that's just a game. Like you gotta win that game, man. The Sabres Corsi 4 percentage was 55.32. Theirs was 44.68. Our Fenwick 4 percentage was 62.16. Um, our shots 4 percentage was 64.4. Scoring chances 4 percentage was 67.4. Our expected goals for percentage was 73.49, which again, like I mentioned before, it's, for some of these stats, the average is probably around like 50, 73.49 expected goals for percentage, and the Sabres were only able to put up 3 goals. So basically, what I'm getting out of that is that this Sabres team, they're generating so much offense. I mean, they had over 40. I think they had 40 shots last night. Generating the offense isn't the problem. They're still getting plenty of zone time. They're getting plenty of chances, plenty of shots. They need to figure out how to bury these chances because once they do, they're going to be scoring at will. And Boston's a team where they were supposed to be one of those, really solid defensive teams that are tough to get to the net to, tough to get shots on. I mean, 73 goals for percentage. You have to be able to score more than three, especially against a backup goalie in Corpusalo, who, I mean, no offense, he's obviously a backup, so he's not one of the best goalies in the world, but it's just you got to be able to bury more. If you would have shown me those numbers, I would have probably said the Sabres would have probably scored like 5 or 6 goals last night. But the fact they only scored three is kind of disappointing. I am happy about the fact that they were able to battle back because I've mentioned it multiple times already. I don't think previous Sabres teams, if they're in that situation, they're battling back. Obviously, Dahlin and Tuck had a really nice play. Josh Stone, again, doing a great job getting to the front of the net, kind of grabbed the puck out of midair and just handed it to himself on his own stick and made a really nice play. So I think they did a really nice job battling back last night and grabbing a point. But just looking at some of those numbers, that's a game you expect them to win. That you expect them to win. And it's just disappointing to see them come out with an overtime loss, but I won't be mad that they grabbed a point out of it. And then just kind of looking at like goals for per game, Sabres are bottom half of the league. They're only averaging 3 goals a game. Um, their power play is kind of middle of the pack. They're at 14th. It's 21%. It's not bad. They have eight power play goals. Um, and they have 33 goals on the season, 8 power play goals. So they only have 25 5-on-5 goals in 11 games. I just don't think that's good enough. For a team that's gonna have a middle of the pack power play, you need to be able to score 5-on-5 more. And I think last night kind of proved that. Um, Not that they're not jittering the offense, but like I mentioned, they need to be able to bury on their chances more, kind of bear down. Luckily the penalty kill has been very, very good this year. 89.5%. That's third best in the league. So if they can keep up the good special teams, you kind of want to for special teams, you kind of want to have your penalty kill and power play combined to be above 100, and they are well above that mark right now. I know we're only 11 games into the season, but it's been a very, very good start. So it's still a small sample size, but they just need to be able to sustain that throughout the year. Um, that's likely all I've got for today. The Sabres play the Capitals on home ice tomorrow night. I don't think I'll be able to watch that game, so I will put out a video on TikTok probably, and then recap that game in a later video on YouTube. So make sure to go follow my TikTok, follow my Instagram, all that stuff, because I will be giving my reactions. But in terms of watching that game, I do in fact have my own game that night, so I will not be able to watch the Sabres game. Um, I'll probably just watch the highlights, see some of the box score, kind of get a gauge of look at some of these advanced stats, get kind of a gauge for how they played, and I will get my opinions out there. But yeah, that's likely to do it. Sabres play the Capitals Saturday night. Hopefully they can go get a win, move to 5-4-3, kind of move up in the standings a little bit. That would be really nice. But yeah, if you made it this far, really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and follow my X. All the same usernames and stuff, Buffalo_banter. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you next time.